Hello everyone, welcome back to Almighty Blues FC, a fan channel for all to see. What a fantastic weekend of football we had, right? And that is why we had to come. Yes, people out there who missed that weekend of football, you missed lots, but again, you did not miss lots because we are going to be discussing that weekend, especially that Super Sunday. And just not that, we obviously have great cup games, even more coming in this week, and we're going to quickly discuss them, but we are in January. Like I've been saying in the last couple of weeks, that January means transfers, and we've got to do a lot of transfer talk because things change very quickly in transfer market. And yes, for people out there, new watchers especially, wondering that why are we speaking in English? Yes, we have been alternating between Hindi and English streams for a reason, and that is because yes, it's all because of you, the viewers. We have audience who are in Hindi speaking as well as English speaking, and we certainly need to respect both sides, so we are alternating between the two. And of course the panel that always kind of has been supportive for Almighty Blues FC. And let's actually welcome the panel, why not, right? Because it's been a while that actually we've had this panel back on. That is firstly Taron. Welcome back to Almighty Blues FC. How are you, brother?
Yeah, you can see I've got a haircut, so everything's a bit different now. But I've missed streaming a lot on different channels. I'm really excited to be back on. We all know I really love coming on this channel, and I love the structure and the discussions, the guests, and the hosts most of all. Obviously, Ankit. I'm really happy to see you and really happy to be on.
No, no, absolutely great. And of course, we can't leave behind another Chelsea boy. And yes, we are having Chelsea boys today, more so because it is basically a very important week for Chelsea in terms of cup competitions. But you can trust me, these guys know them all. So we are going to discuss a lot more, just not Chelsea. So stick on till the end. And as that, we definitely have to welcome back Amaya. Amaya, how are you?
Yeah, hey man, it's been a long time, but yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Hope you guys are good too. I mean, I remember, I actually met Taron through you for the first time, so that was really great as well. So yeah, really delighted with this panel, and lots to talk about. Like you said, the comments are already popping up. So yeah, can't wait to get started.
Absolutely. And again, a lot of people watching out there. And of course, we'll get to details about Taron and Omea towards the end. So do stick on. But even before, so do check out the description. Just takes a second. Taron's Twitter link is there. Give him a follow, as in this guy rocks. And of course, Amaya, CFC Chats, brilliant channel. Amaya knows for sure. Like, they are nearing a year. And I know I was definitely there on day one. So hopefully, we'll be there forever. And, a great channel for that as well. So do subscribe to them. And first and foremost, yes, people out there watching, today is Mason Mount's birthday. So hats off to Mason Mount, already a champion player. Happy birthday to you, Mason. If you're watching, in case hopefully this reaches you somehow, big fan here. Of course, Taron Amaya also are, but some thoughts also to another Chelsea player, and that is Edward Mendy. Because yes, Edward Mendy unfortunately is down with COVID. Hopefully he gets back very soon, and the Senegal team is fine because yes, they have a very important African Cup of Nations. Yes, we're going to discuss that as well. But hats off, I think more than hats off, I have to definitely do this, and I don't do this to this club especially, but I am doing this to Arsenal Football Club, believe it or not. Yes, I just said that. I actually did. Yes, Arsenal, not because they lost to Nottingham Forest. Come on, I'm not going to do this for that. But for sure, kudos to them because they actually wore white jerseys, and that is basically for the no red, I think, anti-knife, crime campaign that they are for. Great campaign, Arsenal Football Club. So hats off to you. But like I said, a lot to discuss from that weekend, lots to discuss from the week that is going to happen as well as transfers. So again, there are people in the chat already. Juventus game was crazy. Yes, we will certainly discuss. We'll come to that. Stick on for sure. Big up to you for joining. And Isco to Tottenham. What do you think? Wow, that's interesting. And we'll come to that. And yes, do put in your questions. Fantastic panel here. They will certainly answer. And of course, I would like to see Almighty Blues FC covers most of them, usually. So we will certainly make sure. And well, Pochettino, well, as in he's become a joke almost, but yeah, no pun intended. Certainly, happy birthday to Mason. And again, everyone watching, like I said, we are alternating between English and Hindi streams. Today, you will definitely, follow it very well because we are speaking language of football like we always do. Big up to Shrey as well. But yeah, where do we begin? We certainly have to begin with that particular shock of a Super Sunday, as in I would definitely call it a shock. First and foremost, Taron, I'll come to you. Now, Bayern Munich, I know this was on a Saturday technically, but the place where I live, it was almost Sunday, and you know they got a lead, if I'm not wrong, in Borussia Mönchengladbach. But at the end of the day, this is the club where they also lost, I think, just a couple of months ago. I know it was in the cup, and even this time, Bayern Munich were COVID struck in a way, but they should have won that game. So these games against Borussia, who are what 12th in Bundesliga now, certainly tells us that Bayern Munich are beatable no matter what. As in, that's football for you. And yes, now what? They're 6 points behind Dortmund. So, Tyron, would you say that Dortmund have a faint chance? Maybe in the league, and of course, other clubs in the Champions League?
I wouldn't say Dortmund really have the best chance. I mean, 6 points is always realistic, but with Bayern Munich, they did have 14 players out in this game. It's a lot, and they were, I believe, only playing with 2 or 1 defender maximum in this game. It was a very, very weak Bayern team, but yeah, one of my best friends is a Bayern fan. I did actually watch this game just so I could give my views on this game. And I was going to say after Bayern went 2-1 down to Mönchengladbach, 2 kind of freak goals, you can say, 2 mistakes by Sven Ulreich. It was a very, very weak mental performance on Bayern. You expect the captains like your Lewandowski's, your Kimmich's, your Thomas Müllers to step up, but they all didn't step up. And it just looked like a team that were very, very down due to their situation right now. I'm sure that the rules in the Bundesliga are different to the rules in the Premier League. So Bayern requested many times to have this game postponed, but it was nowhere near accepted by the DFB. So yeah, the game was played. Bayern, I think still could have won with the players on the pitch. But then again, they had their starting CDM playing centre back. They had Nicolas Zula, who's just come back from COVID starting. They had players like Marcel Sabitzer playing left wing back. So it was a very, very makeshift Bayern team, and you can't really expect them to do well. But this Mönchengladbach team, I think even our under-23s could have beat them right now. They're in poor form. They're in really, really poor form. Adi Hüttner looks like he could be sacked very soon. They went 6-0 down in the first half recently to Freiburg, so it's not been good for them. But overall, I'd say, knowing how good Bayern are, you expect them to win with their main players still in the team. Maybe not Manuel Neuer, but their main players. So it's very disappointing. I wouldn't say that they're a beatable team because they're missing some of their players, but still, you expect some kind of fight and some kind of passion. But after that second goal went in for Mönchengladbach, it looked like they should have lost 4, even 5-1, in my opinion. So there's a poor performance from Bayern, but I reckon they'll bounce back next week and secure the league.
Yeah, talking about bouncing back, one team which is probably not doing, especially away, is basically PSG. Well, but yeah, before that, again, you can see Kylian Mbappe on the screen and talk about him and Haaland for transfers. And yes, we will come to transfers for sure. But talking about them, like for me, again, I hope that basically Haaland kind of stays in the Bundesliga just for the Bundesliga to remain that kind of competitive. But I know that reality is different. And same with Mbappe, like the stars leaving Liga, maybe we'll probably have them kind of not being followed as much. But that particular game, Amaya, I know that I know it's been about 2 wins only away for PSG in the league in the last 6 games, and that's like really bad. I know that what they're 11 or 12 points ahead of the place team, but Lyon again are what 11th in the league. So this tells us that maybe PSG are focusing a bit too much on the Champions League, which is far from now. Yes, I can understand Neymar, being injured is well documented. Messi obviously being partying over the New Year and got COVID. We know that as well. But as in again, like Bayern, PSG should have won that game. Mbappe, great, brilliant kind of effort towards the end as well. But I don't know, Amaya, like, would it be fair to say that basically, PSG, even kind of, having Wijnaldum, who's linked to a lot of clubs back to England, is something that they should really stick on to him, and they need that extra set of players not to kind of bottle it again with the league.
Yeah, definitely. I think, especially with Bayern Munich and PSG, especially, with the Premier League fans, it sort of becomes a joke, doesn't it? We call it the Farmers League and whatnot because it's so dominated by one team. But then actually, PSG did lose it last season to Lille, right? A lot of people seem to forget that. So I guess, they should start taking it slightly more seriously. But I think the Messi signing actually just proved it all, really, didn't it? Even the Sergio Ramos signing to an extent, they don't care about any other trophy this season other than the Champions League. So, I mean, realistically, they're still going to win the league, aren't they? Because, like you said, they're about 12, 13 points clear of the second place team. So, I mean, I don't think it's much of a contest. So, I think they've more or less got that secured in the bag, even if they don't have such good away form. And, they don't play so well on the pitch either, right? Even when they have their best 11, I remember everyone seeing. And it's mainly because these, especially that front three, right? they all sort of play their own game and try to do stuff and don't exactly play together as a team per se, with the pressing and the marking and whatnot. So it is difficult to maintain those many high egos in the dressing room, which is why I think Pochettino's not he's definitely not the man for the job. I mean, if you want a rebuild job, if you want to develop young players, then Pochettino's the man. But if you want to manage these big egos and sort of get a working ecosystem out of these players, I don't think Pochettino's the man. But credit to him, he's still on top of the league, and he's got out of the group stage of the Champions League. So, let's see. I mean, as long as they're holding the Champions League trophy at the end of the season, I don't think they're going to care about anything else. But yeah, I think the other players definitely have to step up, and there's got to be some sort of they've got to develop the team as a whole. I think over the past couple of seasons, they've been concentrating too much on just either building up the attack or signing big names for that matter as well, and the rest of the team is sort of taking a hit. Although they are making certain signings, they don't seem to plug the gaps that are actually in the squad. So I think, which is why they have sort of an uneven squad, and sometimes they don't have pretty good backups for the first team players as well. So I don't know, it's a little bit of a mess, but they've got the cash, so why not go out there and spend it and sign the best players in the world.
Well, fair enough. Certainly, I think like Ameya, you're taking it, kind of easy with PSG. For me, like they bottled it big time last year. But again, that's just an opinion. That's why we are all here for, and let's see what happens this time. And they're really depending on those big names. And again, if they are going back on them, I don't know what they built over the last year. But certainly, moving on, as in again, people will be wondering why are we actually put this particular match snapshot on the screen. Like, come on, that particular goal by Korea itself was wow, like from almost a half line. But yes, Granada, Barcelona, you can say that I can probably cover that as well. But we already covered that. Again, people out there who missed it, we did cover basically the Saturday roundup, which has started a new series. Hopefully, you like that series, and we covered basically Granada, Barcelona, Real Madrid, Valencia. But this game itself was wow for me. And Tyrone, I know Atletico Madrid again, but they are fourth, Villarreal are eighth. So you can say it could have been a close game, but come on, Atletico Madrid should be winning these games, quite easily, if you really ask me. But they haven't been in a great run of form. Yes, they are, reigning champions of Spain, but now that they are fourth, Taron, despite that wonder goal, do you see actually Simeone finally coming to terms with what he can do max, and Atletico Madrid maybe missing out on that Champions League spot next season?
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, I'm going to make quite a strange analogy. I think it's a bit similar to Sean Dyche at Burnley in the way that he's done pretty much all he can, and it's maybe time for someone with more fresh ideas, maybe some attacking football to come in. So let's go. Simeone's done an amazing job at this team. He's converted them around, won 2 La Liga titles, reached Champions League final. He's done a lot for this team. So I think right now I'd probably look at shipping him out in a stage where it's not too bad for the club or him at the end of the season. Keep him till the end, maybe get top 4, get a decent run in the Champions League, and maybe it is time to maybe leave the club at the end of the season. And I think Simeone, last season they won the league, but then again, it was a very, very non-competitive league. Real Madrid were nowhere near the standards that they have been. Barcelona were very, very poor under Ronald Koeman. So it wasn't really the really competitive league that you could say Simeone has a big job to win that league. So this season at the end, I think Real Madrid have pretty much stamped their authority on the league, and I think they will go and win it with Vinicius Jr. Benzema doing so well. Sevilla are very good. They're only 5 points off of Real Madrid this season. There are teams that can possibly even get ahead of Atletico and finish ahead of them at the end of the season. So if they can get top 4, finish fourth or third, give Simeone a good, testimonial, a good goodbye, and then he can go and maybe go to a club in the Premier League, because I'd love to see him in the Premier League with our already great stack of managers we have now. So I think it could be time for him to leave. And yeah, I think Simeone's done a great job, but you can see it's getting a bit stale now, I'd say.
Wow, and then Taron, come on, you're turning the Premier League into a Super League almost. But I think you're right. As in a way, that's what it's going to become eventually. We all know that money talks. But yes, people out there watching again, I know that you have definitely joined, and I'm pretty sure you're enjoying the conversation. If you are, do smash that like button and subscribe, not just to Almighty Blues FC for sure, but CFC chats that you can find in the description below, and of course give a follow to Taron as well. But it'll also help if you can share the stream on social media so that we have more people joining, because we're going to discuss not just what happened on that Super Sunday, but like I said, many transfers, right? And what's going to happen in the cup competitions in this week as well. And that's something that you can look out for sure. But I think just sticking to this match, I think I can certainly say that it had a dramatic ending. Jeffrey Kondogbia, yes, you got it right, that he, out of all people, came out with that equalizer. Yes, you can say that Rooney, probably should have stopped that ball, but at the end of the day, that was a long strike and a great finish in terms of the match scenario, but it didn't end there. Kondogbia, I think, was getting too bored. I think recently, we know his form, what it's been like over the last couple of years. And then he decided, let's get a second yellow, and it went to a red. So, yes, dramatic finish for sure. And that's why I picked this one from La Liga. But yes, Super Sunday, talk about drama. And we cannot kind of, leave this behind. This is wow. As in some game, this as in really for me, again for people out there who might not know, as in I used to be an AC Milan fan as well all those years ago. So Serie A is definitely something that I like watching. But firstly, I have to definitely speak out here because the place where I am, I don't know what the broadcasters are thinking. No disrespect to Athletic Bilbao, but they decided to, actually broadcast that game over this game. Like really, as in I was shocked. It took me one half entire that I missed to actually figure out whether the match is going to be telecast. So I'm hoping the next time this doesn't happen. But yes, I was able to watch basically the rematch or rather rewatch, the recording. But certainly, as in I'll just give a brief. I'm sure there might be other people who might also miss this game. I don't know. So it was a great start itself. 3-1. I think Roma were leading, and I think what Roma currently seventh, Juventus fifth, and 3-1 also great goals, I would say. First, of course, Tammy Abraham that you see on screen, a great header, and then it was Mkhitaryan, I think decent player on his J, and I think the player for Roma for me is Pellegrini, the captain, fantastic. Reminded me of the Totti days when he took that superb free kick, and in between Dybala scoring a wonder goal as well. So this was definitely heading to a great finish, but I thought, okay, Roma is having a two-goal lead. It's Jose Mourinho. They are definitely going to be, as in managing the game, but no. All of a sudden, out of all the people, Alvaro Morata, yes, you heard it right, Morata decided to play on the wing, which he used to do in the Real Madrid days, and they decided let's get Locatelli up front, and that's what exactly happened. Morata crosses to Locatelli, who gets in a great header, and then I think it was one of his balls again, Morata's ball that Kulusevski, fell to, got that equalizer, and I thought that's it. It's a draw game for sure. That's what both teams deserve, but no, then it was Dishikli out of all the people who's not got a goal from, I don't know, maybe a year, maybe more. And he decided to score a goal 4-3. I thought, fine. The game is finally over. But then Delict decides to get a second yellow. I think it was a handball and gives away a penalty. And that penalty, Pellegrini steps up, misses it. Yes, the guy who took a fantastic free kick misses the penalty. Obviously, kudos to Chesney as well, who's improved on his form. And not just that, towards the end, Tammy Abraham had a penalty claim and Chesney got a touch of the ball. So, I think that was something for me. Yes, not a penalty. It was debatable. And Jose Mourinho went bonkers of the yesteryears that we remember Jose Mourinho of. Some game that, and it remained at what, 4-3. Wow, as in Juventus are suddenly back, but I'll probably come to you, Taron, because in terms of Roma, like I know that Jose Mourinho is known for his defensive prowess, but in recent years we've seen this with Jose Mourinho. Is that something that he's doing different, or do you think it's simply that teams have outworked him, or he's just lost that defensive mentality as a coach, like or Roma don't have the players, simply put?
I think it's a combination of two things. I think, first of all, football's always evolving. We saw an era where counter-attacking football was, really, really dominant in the game. Now I think it's more the gegenpressing style, the fast-paced intensity style that is getting the wins in football nowadays. I think Mourinho, we saw it towards the end of his United spell. It wasn't really working. The Tottenham second year, it started off very well with Son and Kane, but then again, it started to die down. And I think with Mourinho, he really needs a strong defense more than an attack. He can work with a poor attack because he really relies on his defense. And at Tottenham, he didn't have that. He had Eric Dyer, Alderweireld, Sanchez, Tanganga, not really the defenders that like your John Terrys and Chaos that you had before. And his, I can't remember, Nesta maybe from Inter Milan. I can't, don't hold me to that too much. And now he has Ibanez and a few other defenders like Chris Smalling, who he didn't really fancy at Man United. So I think he doesn't really have the defensive capabilities to keep out teams. As we saw then, 3-1 up, you think any Mourinho side would see out that game, counter-attack, maybe get a fourth or a fifth in the counter. But what happened? They ended up losing the game 4-3. So Yeah, first of all, I think it's like I said before, football is always evolving. Now we're seeing more intense teams really getting to the top of Europe. Your Man Cities, your Bayern Munich's, your Liverpool's, your Chelsea's, and the counter-attacking teams are more like your top four teams. You're just hovering below the top elite, and yeah, Mourinho needs a stronger defense if he wants to compete at the top level again, I think.
Yeah, as in, there's something going wrong because again, I know Roma. Technically, what they've lost to, I think, of course, Juve now. They lost to AC Milan and Inter Milan in the last month or so. So yeah, they're losing ground for sure. And despite what basically as in they made the signings. I know Maitland Niles perform for them, and we'll come to that talking about Arsenal later on certainly. And here. Chiesa tore his ACL. Yes, absolutely. And I know that kind of you can say that Roma were bad, but again hats off to basically Juve coming back. But Chiesa, until he was there, was really good, and him tearing that ACL. Amaya, where would you put Juventus? Are they like really making a charge, or you think Chiesa now maybe potentially? Obviously, I think he's going to be missing the season, but let's see as in how it goes further. But maybe even Italy will get affected for sure. But Juventus, do you see Amaya as actually making a late charge to the title run? They're what 11 points behind Inter.
Yeah, but I think definitely not. I mean, I think Inter have got this in the bag for sure. I think Simone Inzaghi's done a brilliant job, switching over from Lazio to Inter actually, and he was so close to winning the title with Lazio just the year before when Antonio Conte stole it from him. So I think this time he'll be more than determined to get his hands on the title. And realistically, I don't see Inter. I don't see Inter losing the lead, and I don't see Juve making up those many places because there's so many teams in between them. And if I remember correctly, Fiorentina, I think, who are just below Juventus, have 2 games in hand over them, and I think are just 1 point behind them or something. So I fully back them to go ahead of them as well, especially with Vlahovic in such great form. So I think Juventus. I mean, probably have to start building towards next season. They have a huge rebuild process ahead of them. I think they're trying to get all the high wage earners out of the team and all of that stuff. We saw Ronaldo leave last season. We're seeing Ramsey being touted to leave this window as well. We'll get to the transfer news later. But yeah, they're trying to offload all the high wage earners and they're trying to rebuild the whole squad. So I think it's going to take some time for sure. But they are a big name. So I fully back them to be, in amongst the top teams competing for the title over the next couple of seasons. But I think this season, Inter have definitely got this in the bag. And I'd be very surprised if they let it slip again.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. But again, talking about Inter, they have got a great win as well. I think against Lazio, which obviously has Mauricio Sarri and Pedro, but I think that was a close win in itself. So, as in some results, even in the Serie A, I think Serie A probably is the top league in terms of just the competition, the excitement, as in the recent weeks. And I think Atalanta got a six goal, as an 8 goal thriller probably that they were in, as in a great win for them as well. So looking forward to Serie A games for sure. But I think let me put up this again because yes, talking about drama, I think this is actually a shout out that I would like to give to. This is basically Primeira Liga, of course, in Portugal. I'm pretty sure not many of you will be watching live at least, but I happen to watch it and well, some scenes there, some scenes, right? Hats off basically to Porto, of course, who are trying to keep their lead. I think they are on top of the league right now, just by 3 points. Pretty close league as well, to be honest. And I think it was their coach, Sergio, who got his son 2 minutes from full time, right? And they were what 2-all against Estoril away, and this guy actually scored a banger. What a story! Some story that so yes, that's just a shout out. Purely dramatic scenes again, just like in the Roma Juventus game for sure. And but yeah, as in just sticking to that, Taron, about the Porto game. I know we watched Benfica as well as Sporting in this particular Champions League campaign. Like, who would you say is the most impressive till now, as in Porto, Benfica, or Sporting?
I mean, I'm not a massive fan of Porto because I'm not a fan of the way they played. That moment was special for Conceição's son to score the winner in the last minute. We saw Conceição towards the end of the second game against us last season, and he was not too good, but I'm sure he will be bright in the future. Out of them three, if Bruno Fernandes was still at Sporting, I would have said Sporting, and they did okay in the Champions League. I wasn't too impressed in the games I watched them. They have a few nice players here and there, but for me, it's Benfica. I think their team is definitely set up. They gave Bayern Munich a decent match in their first game. They held them to, I think, the 75th minute at full strength, Bayern Munich. and then they just conceded 3 goals or 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. I think the defense is very interesting. Otamendi, Vertonghen, two Premier League stars from before. They have a lot of talent over the park. Rafa up front, the midfield is solid as well, and they have a lot of talent. So Benfica for me, Porto, like I said, not a fan of the way they play, not a fan of their dark arts at all. And Sporting, since they lost Bruno, they haven't been the same team nearly or nearabouts. But for me, it is Benfica.
Okay, fair enough. Like again, like people watching, I hope you're liking the stream because yes, lots that we're discussing, and we'll come to basically Chelsea and of course Arsenal, Liverpool, lot many Premier League clubs as well. Just discussing the Super Sunday for now. And again, people watching, do smash that like. And one thing that I really want to request you, everyone watching, do smash that bell notification icon, and that will actually tell you whenever I'm live because it seems like certainly people that I know are regular watchers. I definitely need to again and again request you all to come. Like I hope that you guys are actually press the bell and you kind of come on your own because yes, we are basically building a community for everyone to discuss together, and everyone is welcome on the channel. It's for everyone to see. And talking about Porto, we've got to give this guy a shout out. Ex Porto player Vincent Abu Bakar. This guy, what a comeback. I know African Cup of Nations have just begun. What a beginning. Great first start for me. He came back. I think he got them back with a brace against Burkina Faso. I know Burkina Faso, who I also have, as in Bertrand Traore, as one of their players who assisted as well. So an interesting game for sure, coming back and a great start to the Africa Cup of Nations. But Ameya, I know Cameroon is probably not that Cameroon that we know of yesteryears, but still going by that comeback result and the fact that they are hosting the tournament, do you reckon that they can probably do it this time and win it back, the African Cup of Nations, or do you have a separate, different kind of favorite?
I mean, Cameroon, especially growing up, Cameroon used to be so good at football. I remember, they had such good players at the time, but unfortunately, they've just dropped off massively. I mean, I remember looking at their lineup, and I probably know like four or five of the players properly. I mean, no disrespect to them, of course, but I think the level has fallen off massively, and other teams' level has gone up just like that, hasn't it? I think Senegal, for instance, they've put together an incredible team. I mean, honestly, I think they for me at least, I think they have the strongest team at AFCON currently. I think especially with Mendy back in goal as well. I know they needed a 97th minute penalty from Mane to get the win today, if I'm not wrong. But I still think they've comfortably got the best squad. So I fully expect them to go on and win this. I think Nigeria's got a pretty decent squad in there as well. But, not as complete as Senegal's, I would say. But I'm not sure if all of Senegal's players actually did turn up for AFCON. If I'm not wrong, a few of them declined, I think. They chose not to come from Europe as well. But I mean, I think all in all, I think Senegal do have the best team for me. So yeah, I mean, big up to Cameroon for getting, for getting that AFCON to a good start. But I don't know. I just think that Senegal team is too good. I mean, there is a selfish angle, of course, with Mendy, but I still think even if Mendy wasn't there, I would still back Senegal to win because I think even at the 2018 World Cup, I said this, I thought they had a pretty underrated squad. I mean, of the non-European and non-South American nations, I thought that Senegal actually had one of the better squads. So, and they did put up a fight too, didn't they? I'm pretty sure they got a draw against Poland and a couple of other good results. So I think they have a really, really good squad. And I think that, if we're going by on paper, then I would back Senegal to win. But let's see. Hopefully, it's an interesting one. I mean, I just have to say though, sorry for taking up too much time, but the coverage of AFCON globally has just been so disgraceful. I don't think we have a broadcast in our country, and I remember people in the UK as well going
It's
on Twitter
only
and saying
online.
that. Yeah, and I remember people in the UK as well complaining that their broadcast is awful and they didn't even get to watch the opening ceremony. So they just have to realize that a lot of people actually do care about the tournament, and hopefully that changes soon because there's some really, really good players there and some really good young players there for other teams to scout as well.
Yeah, for sure. As in, again, big up to the AFCON. Hopefully, as in people do follow, and this word is passed. They definitely need more. But as in, come on. As in, we've spoken about a lot of things on that Super Sunday, but no pun intended, we've got to come to this one. As in, this was basically some results. Again, for people out there who don't know, yes, it was FA Cup weekend, and we discussed on the channel Chelsea's game, Newcastle's game, Everton's game, and whatnot. Do check out, the links are all below if you want to check it out again. But this game, you could miss it. First of all, hats off to Nottingham Forest. It was obviously 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. Arsenal are eliminated 25 years. I think it's only the second time that they've been eliminated in the third round. Yes, they were wearing white for a reason that we shouted out in a good way in the beginning of the stream. But Taron, in a way, I can say that maybe that was their Achilles heel, because the players maybe went missing. They didn't know who their own teammates are, were passing the ball around. I don't know how. But again, jokes apart, their midfield, just kind of missing. We knew that I think Granit Xhaka is out due to COVID. We always knew Partey is going to be out, and so is basically Elneny. But maybe they missed a trick, Taron, by playing just one youngster. I think Patino, he did decently well. Yes, he made mistakes, but maybe like Arsene Wenger used to do, play youngsters together so that they have a gelling bond on the pitch. Is that something that you would agree with?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I think with youngsters, when they're on the pitch, they always try and impress extra much, and they always, you can say, play for the badge. They're always more sharp than the other players in terms of they've just played academy games, so they're not really too tired in terms of comparing that to Premier League games. So we saw it when we played Brentford in the cup, in the Carabao Cup quarterfinals. We had Vale and Susan Bell, very, very fresh 11 in general, and we looked very sharp. We looked very fresh, and we ended up getting the win. So with Arsenal, it just felt like a makeshift team that there wasn't really much thought given to the tactics, the connections, the link up. I think Charlie Patino, it wasn't really a fair game for me to be seeing Charlie Patino for the first time, because I think away at the Forest ground, I think it is called the Forest ground, it's not really an easy game, especially with the fans behind you in a very physical. The City ground, yeah, something ground. So it was a difficult game for Patino. I think Ben White really struggled holding. I'd say he tried to get forward his best, but couldn't really get any of his shots on target. The fullback Cedric was playing his first game for, I believe, 4 months, so it's not really too great. And obviously, the Nuno Tavares substitution is a big talking point, because I think with Arteta, for me, I think he always tries to go a bit too far in the statements he makes. I think he's trying to establish himself as a big kind of stern manager in world football. So I think he does go a bit too far, and he should have left Nuno Tavares on, because you could see when Tierney came on, he wasn't too fresh. He didn't even have a warm up, and he just came and was thrown straight into a big game that they were on the back foot of already. So I think Nottingham Forest deserved to win the game as a whole. It was a very boring fixture in total. I was impressed by the right back of Nottingham Forest. I was impressed by, I think Keenan Davis was okay on his, I believe, his first Nottingham Forest game. So it was a difficult game for Arsenal. It's never easy in these FA Cup games, especially the third round. The other team always seems to want it a little bit more. It's a much bigger tie for them. And another year where Arsenal have gone out of the FA Cup early on. Last year it was Southampton, and now it's Nottingham Forest. So it's not good for Arsenal fans. They can't win any trophies this year unless they somehow win the Premier League. So it's disappointing, and I wouldn't want to be an Arsenal fan right now, put it that way.
Yeah, for sure. Again, like on the Super Sunday that we had just now, the games, there was an FA Cup draw as well for the fourth round, and some interesting draws. Chelsea definitely have Plymouth Argyle, as in that is doable at home. Come on, like we should be winning that game on paper at least, and hopefully we don't do an Arsenal. But I think Forest, as in kudos to them, they got what holders Leicester. That's going to be interesting for me, considering Leicester's situation of injuries and COVID, etc. Let's see how it goes. Come 5th of Feb, I think when it's going to be played around. But I think Liverpool also had their game almost got a banana skin. They went behind and then basically came back, deservingly so. Gordon, for me, impressed lots. And honestly, that 4-1 scoreline kind of flattered Liverpool, especially Fabinho getting 2 goals. Come on, that's not going to happen again very, very, very soon for sure. But yeah, there's a lot of games. And like I said, we already covered a lot on Saturday for the games that were on Saturday. So do check out the links. And of course, people joining late, in case basically if you are from India and if you're expecting a Hindi stream, like I said earlier, we are alternating between Hindi and English streams. And that's a reason because our audience definitely comes from both sides. And we got to respect both the sides and a panel as well. And we speak football. Hopefully, you will enjoy the stream right till the very end, like you're doing now, and that's why you're watching, pretty sure. So let's smash that like. Do subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, as we get to that 1K mark very soon. And CFC chats, who just got to 2K, so hopefully subscribe to them and give Taron a follow. The links are in the description. So yes, let's move on from that Super Sunday. Certainly, it is a great game week for the Cups. And yes, we did cover a lot of FA Cup history recently in one of the videos. And yes, we previewed the Man U Villa game FA Cup as well. But at the end of the day, it is basically Carabao Cup semis, a chance to go to Wembley for Chelsea, and that's a big deal. And of course, Spurs fan, yes, Eugene, shout out to him. He was in the house. Certainly, a great channel that he runs as well. For me, it's a certainly interesting game. But yes, we already covered the head-to-heads and basically, the kind of review that he had of the first leg. It was 2-0 to Chelsea. And if anyone's not checked out, to check out that, because yes, we had Baba on the stream and we discussed lots. But more than anything, I think it's about Spurs here, because yes, they had a team in Morecambe that they played. Chelsea played Morecambe, I think, last year. Did pretty well. Honestly speaking, Spurs should have won that game easily. They didn't do that so easily. In fact, Morecambe got the upper hand, deservingly so, and then Spurs came back. If not for Harry Winks' superb free kick, and maybe I think Morecambe's defender making a mistake, I'm pretty sure Spurs, would have gone on to possibly lose that game. And towards the end, also Emerson Royal, I think he won a ball. For me, it was a foul. So it's kind of two ways that you can look at things. But again, they got the win. That was important. At the same time, they didn't play the first team, if I'm not wrong, Maya. They played pretty much a second team. You can kind of guess at why they played that second team, but Amaya, just expecting now, Spurs are playing after Chelsea, which is on Wednesday. They are playing Arsenal the weekend, the big Lord North London derby. So, considering that, do you think Spurs will still go with their first 11 in this game against Chelsea? And we'll come to the injuries, but what's your general feel?
Yeah, I think so. I think they'll definitely give it a shout. I mean, there's no point if they don't, right? I mean, uh, if they've rested their players against Morecambe, then I'm pretty sure the first team players will be, ready to give it a go in this game, right? I mean, you can play 2 games a week. I think at this level, I don't think that should be any issue. So if they've got rest at the weekend, I think they should be more than happy to play midweek and the weekend after that, because I don't think they've got a midweek game after that, do they? I'm not quite sure. Or do they have a Premier League game? I'm not quite sure, but
Yeah.
I
So
think they do have a
again,
Premier League game. Yeah, but regardless, right? I think I think they'll definitely put out their first team. I mean, 2-0. It is a pretty safe score line, at least in my point of view. I mean, personally, I don't see them, beating us 3-0 unless there's an untoward incident like a red card or a penalty or some sort of chaos or drama in the game. But I think, yeah, I mean, they'll give it their shot. I think Antonio Conte, he did win the FA Cup with us in his second season, didn't he? So I think but so he doesn't take cup competitions too lightly, I guess. But at the end of the day, I think they will concentrate more on the league because they still have a shot of getting top 4. Although it seems bleak, but I still think they do have a shot nonetheless. So I think they will be concentrating on the league. But yeah, I expect them to put out a first team. But let's see, because like you said, they do have a lot of injuries as well. We'll get to that, but I'm not sure how strong their first team will be anyway. So let's see.
yeah, let me just quickly share what they played against Chelsea in that first leg. Because yeah, as in there was kind of a surprise in the first leg that they went so strong, but still kind of did not really go for the game in the first half, and obviously we kind of covered that. That's well documented. But for me, I think in terms of injuries, quickly, because we spoke about Maya now, I think if I'm not wrong, Romero is still not fit. Son, that is well known that he's injured. Again, knowing Tottenham and knowing Son, I won't be surprised if he comes back and plays, and that's how it's been. Last time also, I remember very well that was kind of for the media, but this time I think it's probably genuine because they're probably talking about a longer term, and so again, let's hope he gets back soon, just for basically neutral sake, right? Certainly, but I know that they went this way, started this way against Chelsea, and I think, and Dombele, by the way, against Morecambe, he got booed. Pretty sure that's his last game. Like again, I don't kind of as in comment that at all. That's not good, but it is what it is, right? And Dombele, Deli Ali's probably played his last game in that game because Morecambe that first half was really bad. They didn't turn up for sure. Brian Gill, yes, he looked great against Chelsea when he came on, but against Morecambe he didn't look great either. So. Amaya, what do you expect? Spurs to come up with? Like, do you expect any major changes? Regulon surely will play, right?
Yeah, I think Reguilon definitely makes a huge difference for them as well when he plays. I think just the way that he's so attacking and is pressing his energy. I think Reguilon's a pretty decent player. So yeah, I think Reguilon coming back will make a huge difference for them. But I think they'll definitely miss Son though. I have to say, I think for me he's their best player. I think even above Harry Kane, Lloris, and all of those guys. I think Son is just it's just unlucky that he's been stuck there for that long, because he's definitely should have won a few trophies by now. But I think, yeah, I think he's going to be a huge miss, and without him, I don't know where the goals are going to come from for them, honestly, because if you need 3 goals, I don't see anyone else in the team capable of scoring that. I mean, that many number of goals. I mean, usually you would say Harry Kane, but the way that he's been playing this season has been awful as well. So I'm not quite sure from where the goals are going to come. And yeah, I mean, I expect them to roll up with the strongest 11 that they have, but as I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure how strong that actually is.
True, and it's interesting you speak about the goals because surprisingly, Bergwijn has been linked back to Ajax, back to Holland. Like, he's going back to Ajax, what it seems like. That's really surprising because they need more forward. Harry Kane, Son, more has been, they've been literally playing every week. I don't know, Gareth Bale might just end up there. I know he's thinking about retirement as well. But as in the Panna side, Taron, in that particular game against Chelsea in that first leg, like Conte changed midway. But do you think it's better for Conte to kind of surprise Tuchel and go with something totally different? Like you really see Conte doing that, or will go try and test it?
I don't see him doing that, but I think it is the best solution right now because that lineup was way too predictable. I'm sure Tuchel had it,
Yeah.
maybe not Doherty, but the whole thing was particularly planned out. We overloaded their central areas when they only had 2 central midfielders. So Conte swapped to what did he swap to, a 4-4-2 and tried to get a bit more narrow. It didn't really work as well. So I think if Conte was to play a few of the outliers, maybe Bergwijn could come on to get him behind this Chelsea high line. And Dombele, I thought was actually better than more when he came on. I thought he was a bit more penetrating through the middle, so that could have worked as well. But I think Conte is quite stubborn in the way he likes to portray his tactics. He's very stubborn, and it's 3-4-3, 3 kind of solid defenders, a kind of ball playing and a defensive midfielder, 2 attacking wing backs, and 3 kind of pacey forwards. It's always been like that, and I don't think it will change much. But yeah, I'll be going to this game, so hopefully I'll be able to maybe not boo Conte. I mean, a lot of fans will be booing Conte, but it's
Come
not
on,
it's
come
not
on,
for me, in
don't,
my
come on.
opinion.
Yeah,
I mean, I
fair
posted
enough.
something on my Twitter recently, and it got a lot of hate. I posted something, "Do you think Conte's a legend?" And people were not happy about that. I think he is, but
Wow.
that's another topic for another day. But yeah,
I
you
love
guys give
Conte,
your
man.
thoughts
I have
on that
no two
later.
ways about it. As in, I don't have any qualms about saying that. Yes, of course, opinions are there, but someone who's really kind of won you the league, and then after 10th, like that season itself, makes him a legend for me. Like, and that player power I remember. But yeah, coming back to Chelsea, of course, uh, as in superb, kind of that the first leg win. Yes, you can say that we probably should have got more goals and finished the tie overall as not yet over. But and then in terms of injuries, if I'm not wrong, Chaloba is probably going to be out, is what it seems like. And apart from that, Kante and Silva, I think the quarantine period might be over, but I'll be really surprised if they begin after COVID. I don't see that happening at all. So let me share my screen because for me, I've just gone for the predicted lineup. Again, people in the chat, what do you think about the predicted lineup for Chelsea as well as for Spurs? Here is mine. Let me just remove that comment. 1 second. Yeah, so this is what I think. Again, like I don't know, like Talon said, like Tuchel did go 4-4-2 in that first leg, but again in against Chesterfield, was it? We went 3-4-3 again, despite not having any defenders. He still went for that. So I can clearly see Tuchel, really strongly going for that again, and maybe just going for tried and tested. But I don't know, Amaya, what are your thoughts? Basically, as in, would you put basically Hall after that performance? Sar maybe no.
I mean, you can make a case for both, can't you? But then I think realistically, you've got to stick Rudiger in there once again. I mean, honestly, he's been one of our best players this season, one of our best players since Tuchel came in, really. So I don't think we can displace him. As good as Sar was actually in the first game against Spurs, I was actually really surprised. I've never seen Sar play this well, honestly. So full credit to him for turning up and pocketing their entire, pocketing Spurs front line. Basically, I mean, I didn't even realize Harry Kane played the game. It was that bad. But yeah, I think good performances there, but I mean, realistically, once the serious business starts, it's always the experienced players, the seasoned campaigners who come back in, and I think the lineup that you've picked right now, I think is is definitely something that I would back. And as good as Sar was, probably as a substitute later on, maybe I don't know, but I think if we start strong and once we're in a position where it looks like we're more or less through, I think after that you can start getting all the youngsters on. But yeah, I would definitely start with the back three that you've put there.
Yes, yes, of course. And again, like Saul, he had basically a great week, I would say, like overall. Like Now, if you drop him, like, that would be worse. Like, so I would just continue him, despite the Kovacic stand that I am. And Jorginho had, I think, a good partnership. If I'm not wrong, they both kind of played together in that first leg. So I think him getting a rest in midweek kind of also helps. Sorry, in the weekend. So yeah, overall, I can see this happening. I think the wing back is where it is. Yes, by the way, I know a couple of comments are there on the transfers, and we'll come to transfers next. So do stick on for sure. But Taron, what is the approach going to be for Tuchel? Like, is it going to be like the Porto game in the Champions League that we had, just kind of managing that first leg lead, or would you like to see Tuchel go for the attack?
I want to see him go for the attack because I think Tottenham are not a team you need to sit back against. Just be as wary as we were on the counter attack as before. Get aggressive with them. Don't let them play the balls to feet and then play in behind. That was what a lot of teams have struggled with this season against Conte's Tottenham. I say we need to be aggressive to start off with. We need to promote our authority from the front foot in the first 10 minutes or so. If we start off at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, back to the wall, Tottenham putting a lot of pressure on us with Kane and Moura and Ndombele, I think it could be a difficult evening. Sorry. So I'd say we need to go, like I said, aggressive, intense, gegenpress, very, 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 very aggressively in the first 10 or so minutes and show why we're the champions of Europe. We're not where we were in the Porto game. I'd say we've evolved since then in terms of our maturity and our pressing levels. So yeah, that's what I'd say from this game. And I think the Sarr point is the questionable one. Will he start? I'm actually going to go a bit controversial. I'd say I would want Sarr to start because I think he was very good against Chesterfield. I thought he was amazing against Tottenham. I think Harry Kane is a bit, I say, more sluggish than Sarr. Sarr was getting to all the balls, and his job was to really man-mark Harry Kane in that game, along with Rudiger. So I think Sarr and Rudiger are a very, very interesting combination. There's not a lot of weakness there, maybe just the positioning. Apart from that, it's a very, very strong kind of midfield, defensive too. I think Wes Christensen for the game on Saturday, he played the whole game against Chesterfield. He's just recovering from COVID or an injury, something along them lines. So same with Mateo Kovacic. I think if we do a fully fit, kind of fully intense Kovacic, I think City could really struggle with that. Kante, I don't think will be back in time. So yeah, Sal and Jorginho, I think, will provide the control and the dynamism for midfield. And I think Hudson-Odoi right wing back, is it viable anymore? I say Ziyech's been playing there quite a lot now in that makeshift kind of right midfield position, and Mason Mount, Havertz and Lukaku to provide the intensity up front.
Wow, interesting pick. Yes, Ziyech in that wide position I didn't expect, but that's Tuchel for you. Like, it's everyone's bet. It's almost like a betting game that you can get into about Tuchel's lineup. Anyone out there gets the right lineup, we'll probably not decide something of a price because we have not been able to do that in the recent weeks for sure, especially with those injuries and COVID cases, right? But yes, just Viola says 3-1 to Chelsea. Interesting. Like, for me, if you ask me, I can certainly see Tottenham going all guns blazing because there's nothing to lose. And for me, I can see us conceding, but we'll come back. And even if in worst case it's a draw, we kind of get the tie. So I think I'm still going for the tie win. But yeah, I can see basically at Spurs, us, probably conceding. And I think I can see why Just Well has also gone for 1 goal for Spurs. What about you, Amaya? What's your prediction?
I actually think it's gonna be a draw, so I'm gonna go 1-1. I think I mean we will dominate the game for sure, but I'm just not convinced in our finishing. So I'm gonna go 1-1, and it's not gonna be a back to wall performance from us. I think we're definitely gonna try and dominate the game, but at the same time not risk too much on the attack. So it's gonna be a sort of a mature performance, I would say. So I'm gonna go with a 1-1 draw for us in this game, but yeah, I mean, it could swing either ways, but I definitely back us to go through. I can't see us losing by 3 goals.
Yeah, as in especially now that we are playing City, and probably our only chance, if at all, to probably try and be closer to City and probably win the league is not going to happen. But we need to definitely hope and something of a miracle that may happen. So Taron, considering that, do you think Chelsea just might be as in playing second gear, third gear if you're able to manage that early lead? What's your prediction?
I'm going to say 2-0 again. I don't think we're going to concede, to be honest, after how dominant we were in the first game. I think we always perform at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We saw it under Lampard. We saw it this season under Tuchel. Last season under Tuchel. These players seem to get a massive rush when playing against Tottenham, which is impressive considering Tottenham players don't seem to really have that at all. It just seems like a normal game to them. But, Antonio Rudiger, N'Golo Kante, Kovacic, all these players seem to really, really love playing against our really, really fierce London rivals. So I'm expecting a 2-0 win. Like I said, we didn't look like conceding at all in that Tottenham game. Maybe just that chance at the end that Kepa saved. And our attack recently has really impressed me. I think Havertz playing in the kind of free roam position with the same with Mason Mount is going to be devastating for that very, very weak spine of that Tottenham team. Like we said before with Mourinho, he needs great defenders. Same with Conte as well. He needs players that can fit a system, and these players don't. So I'll say a 2-0 win to Chelsea.
Interesting. Again, people out there watching, I've seen the predictions. Hopefully, as in most predictions that we've actually predicted come right, because most of them have gone for Chelsea. But again, it is a cup after all. Anything can happen. As a neutral, I would love a great game, but of course, as a Chelsea fan, just want us to get to Wembley and hopefully not bottle it like we did. We all remember that Kepa saga. Don't want to kind of go there much again, but certainly as an interesting game. And yes, I did basically check the poll for anyone out there who's not taken the poll. We had asked basically which was the standout moment of that weekend, and I think most went for the Roma Juventus game. Really, as in needless to be told. But of course, everyone watching, do smash that like button and subscribe. And for people who've not joined from the beginning of the stream, just to let you know that this is an English stream, yes, because we do have audience from both the sides, so we want to respect both the sides. And like I always say, it's language of football, and I'm pretty sure you'll be enjoying the stream if you do. Not only like the stream, but do subscribe if you're not, and check out CFC chats. The link is in the description, and give a follow to Taron. They know their stuff, not just Chelsea, and like Almighty Blues FC covers as well for everyone to see. But coming to other clubs, yes, there is one more big game happening, right? And for Arsenal, it's almost do or die. I would say, for me, I'm sorry, I can basically say that Arsenal is on a mission, because yes, they did great against City. Probably all their battery was kind of used up in that first half against City, losing that game and the morale. And we know how things change at Arsenal. And yes, again, just like the Chelsea Spurs game, we did cover Arsenal Liverpool head to head and basically recent kind of form, etc. In the previous stream that we did about Carabao Cup. So we're not going to repeat that. But for me, it's a realistic chance of Arsenal to kind of get there, because again, I don't see them doing anything else. And for me, if you're not able to get a silverware at some point or even miss out on top four, I think Arteta is gone, and probably it's right for me. As in, again, people in the chat might comment if they feel differently, but Liverpool, on the other hand, yes, they did kind of impress, especially the youngsters against Shrewsbury Town. I don't know. Just going with that, Amaya, do you think Arsenal, the result they had, they didn't play many youngsters, whereas Liverpool played many youngsters? They probably should continue with playing youngsters in this game, because that's what will keep them in good stead, considering many have gone for AFCON as well and COVID cases as well, right?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, first off, I don't know how Liverpool managed to get the earlier game postponed, and then yesterday Jurgen Klopp came out and said that he had 13 false positives. I mean, that's a bit of a joke, really. But anyway, I think I don't know when the return game is scheduled, though. The reverse
It's
fixture
actually
of this.
just a week away as we speak. It's a week away. So basically, they
Oh,
have
okay,
about the 5 days in between, and that's
okay.
the strangest part. Yes, things got postponed because of the first game, being cancelled for the time being. But now, as in too many games, so I think even Arsenal have the North London derby to deal with.
Yep,
So
yep.
maybe that's the reason I thought maybe playing youngsters is the good way to go, because I think they'll be underconfident anyway.
Yeah, they will be. I think they will be, second favorites heading into the game. That's for sure. But on the flip side, this is realistically Arsenal's only shot at a trophy. Like you said, for some reason they kept doing well. They keep doing well in these cup competitions. I remember FA Cup was a thing. I still can't believe we lost to Arsenal. In Lampard's first season in the FA Cup final. Although it was a bit of a dodgy
Sorry,
refereeing.
I have to cut you there. We didn't lose to Arsenal. We lost to Arsenal and Anthony Taylor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Please
it was.
continue.
Yeah, it was a bit of a dodgy decision. Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, but still, right? I think for some reason they always, do well in these, FA Cups usually. But so, although this is not technically the FA Cup, it is the Carabao Cup. But in general, cup competitions, Arsenal seem to enjoy. So, you can never say. So let's see if they do have anything in store. But yeah, I think realistically, Liverpool, much better side. But I'm a bit surprised that they're here actually, because usually Jurgen Klopp does not take these domestic cup competitions seriously at all. It's always the Champions League and the Premier League. But this season, I think he finds himself here. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's thinking, why not give this a go, right? I haven't won it, so might as well give this a go, especially against Arsenal. So I think both teams won't be at their 100%, because I'm pretty sure both teams will be concentrating on the Premier League games, which are at the weekend, because Liverpool have to keep winning to keep pace with City. I mean, they're behind us by 1 point now, aren't they? If I'm not wrong.
Yeah,
So
but you know what? I think Firmino has come back. I think he was down with
oh,
COVID as well,
okay.
right? So I think Liverpool are slowly but steadily, kind of getting their first teamers back in the absence of course, Mane and Salah. But yeah, that'll be certainly interesting, what they come up with. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
you called it right, because I think it's probably do or die for Arsenal, and they have to go for it. And for me, I don't know, like I'm kind of stuck in between. If you ask me which team do I want, Taron, I'll ask you and chat as well. Any Chelsea fans out there? And of course, neutrals as well. Whom would you actually like to see in the final? Taron, whom would you like to see? Maybe assuming Chelsea reach the final. Let's see.
I mean, to be honest, I really don't like either teams with any inch of any. I really despise. I'm gonna say I really do not like Liverpool, Arsenal, but I do hate Liverpool to a less extreme extent, because Arsenal fans in the UK especially are so cocky with their Champions League hopes and everything. So I'll say Liverpool. That 13 false positive cases was definitely a kind of showing to what was going on. They were trying to miss that game on purpose. I'm very, very convinced about that. But still, I don't like Arsenal fans, so I'm going to say I'd rather have Liverpool go through. Love FA Cup, Carabao Cup final against Liverpool at Wembley. It'll be a great day out, and I'll really love to do that. So I'll say Liverpool to go through, and I think it'll be after AFCON, so it'll be a great day with Mendy back, Salah back, Mane back, and all the other teams. Earlier, when I said that Arsenal are not left in any competitions, I'm saying that because I think they have zero chance of getting through, in my opinion. So I think, yeah, Liverpool for me.
Interesting. And again, we'll take the predictions. So people in the chat, do get in predicting this particular game. The first leg is what you're talking about right now. It's basically at Anfield, and of course they play again in what 5 days time. But let's see, as in what's the predictions here. Amaya, what's your prediction?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for a comfortable 2-0 win for Liverpool. Probably even 3-0 if they do turn up the gas. Because I mean, we saw that last time as well, right? Arsenal went to Anfield in the Premier League full of hope, and then they got trashed 4-0. So realistically, I think Liverpool are still a step above, and I would say 2-0 or 3-0 a comfortable win for Liverpool, and I would back them to be in the final as well. Yeah, but I can't see Arsenal beating them, and I would prefer them too, because Arsenal for some reason do keep beating us in finals. So I would prefer Liverpool. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. I didn't expect that. I have to be very honest, right? I thought maybe Arsenal will kind of go all guns blazing, and probably as in cup competitions, we know what Arsenal is like. I know Carabao Cup hasn't been their kind of cup really. But Taron, what's your prediction?
Overall, in the two ties, I'll say. For the first leg, this is for right. Is it for the first leg or for the both
Yeah,
ties?
first
Sorry.
leg.
First leg. Okay. I'm gonna go with 3-1 to Liverpool. I think it'll be 3-1. Arsenal, we saw, like I may have said, they were schooled and they were kind of humbled at Anfield last time. So I think this game will be very similar. And I think Klopp is looking to win this trophy this year. I think it's fair to say usually he would play a very weak side in both the domestic competitions, just to focus on the two, just as Mayor said, very, very expertly as well. But I will say 3-1 to Liverpool, and the reverse fixture will be a big win to Liverpool as well.
Is he around?
I think Ankit is frozen. About it. I mean, we can just carry on talking about this game. So Mayo, who do you think could be a key player for Liverpool in this game?
I mean, Firmino's back, isn't he? So I think he could be a big boost as well. But they have a lot of other players who will be itching to get into the first team, especially with no Salah and Mane, right? I mean, usually we've seen Liverpool sides and the front three is locked and loaded, right? I don't think any other attacking options even have a shot at starting or getting game time. But I think this time, with both Salah and Mane unavailable, it could be someone like Minamino probably. I think he's still around, and maybe Oxlade-Chamberlain or someone could have a bit of a shout. But yeah, I think it's definitely going to be new people in the Liverpool attack. So let's see. I think Trent misses out through COVID as well, right? I think Trent is one of the non-false positives.
Oh, I think so. He could be out, and that's a big loss, isn't it? Because they didn't really have any backup. Maybe James Milner right back, but that's nowhere near the extent. But yeah, I think I did kind of forget that Salah and Mane were going to miss that game, but I'm still going to say Liverpool will win it. Arsenal are only missing Thomas Partey, so it could be a very even game. Now I'm thinking about it. Aubameyang is missing, but obviously I don't think he's even at the AFCON. Is he at the AFCON?
I think
Aubameyang.
Gabon did qualify, but I'm not sure if Aubameyang's part of it. Let me just look it up though.
Because everything that's going on with his disciplinary breaches, I'm not sure if he's going. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about Arsenal and Tottenham? Are you impressed with them this season? I know it hurts to say it, but are you impressed by them and the way they're handling this new lineup they have, the young team?
I mean, he's selling the Arsenal fans the dreams, that's for sure. I mean, I don't, like you said, right? Not just in the UK, on Twitter as well. A lot of them, they're actually so, they're literally downright arrogant for a team that's been finishing 8th for 2 seasons in a row. I'm pretty surprised at how arrogant they are. But yeah, I think, Arteta's definitely got them believing. And you can say there has been a little bit of an improvement, I would say. It has taken some significant amount of time, really, because could you imagine a manager finishing 8th 2 seasons in a row at Chelsea? I mean, that's just, he would have been sacked like 5 times by now if he was at Chelsea. But I think there has been some sort of progress. I think the younger lads coming in, especially, you've got Saka, Smith Rowe, even Martinelli's been turning it up lately. So I think probably another couple of transfer windows. I think they've really got to back Arteta if they have to have any hope. Oh, Ankit is back. But yeah, I think we were just talking about Arsenal, man. And if we think...
still Arsenal. Okay, come on. We got to move on from Arsenal, but certainly, as in again, here we have the Positional Play podcast, guys. People in the chat, if you're not checked out a Positional Play podcast, please check it out. One of my favorite podcasts, of course, of a fellow content creator, and yes, a lot of people in the chat as well. Again, thanks for joining, and again, thanks to Amaya and Taron for sticking on. I know it's been over an hour. I hope you're enjoying it. Amaya, Taron, I hope we have a few more minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, no worries.
Perfect. And yes, the Positional Play podcast is asking about the Dest rumor. Yes, so let's move on to transfers. What say, guys? So we'll quickly move on. And I know that a lot of games are happening, but I think January calls for transfers. A lot of transfer talk going on. Of course, we will certainly be discussing Dest. Taron, quickly, if I can ask you. Firstly, I hope my dodgy internet connection is better right now.
It's still lagging a little bit.
Yeah, we can hear you fine. It's all good.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can hear you fine, but your image is a little all over the place.
I'm lagging basically. Yeah. So just bear with me, people. But certainly, talking about transfers, while basically Taron speaks, I'll try to basically, fix this part of it as well. But Taron, Serginho Dest is someone who can play right wing back as well as left wing back, but he can do a job at best in the Premier League where he's not been there. At the same time, Emerson is someone that you know what you're going to get. But Luca Digne going to Aston Villa, that kind of surprised me if you really ask me. Yes, Everton are going for that sell option. Maybe that's the reason Chelsea didn't want to do what they did with Emerson. But again, what's your call on the overall left back situation? Would you want to go for one of them, or maybe both, Emerson and Dest, or maybe you have some other options in mind while I come back?
My option would have been Denzel Dumfries, but obviously we can't sign him anymore if he was still at PSV. I think PSV, he would have been a great option as we saw at the Euros, but I think Emerson is my option for left back. It is maybe not a controversial one anymore. He's been playing left wing back for Lyon the whole season. He's been developing himself. We saw Tuchel preferred to play him in a left centre back role last season, which was definitely not his preferred position. So I think him coming back, he's much more dynamic than Alonso. We saw our system this season has developed to be more athletic. We need wing backs who can be in both boxes very quickly. And Alonso, we can say, has cost us in the Brighton game, in the Everton game, in a few other big games this season, especially in the Man City game at home. I think Alonso was a key benefactor of why we got scored in that game. So I think Emerson's my option for left wing back. In terms of right wing back, we have to sign someone. It's as simple as that. We can't recall anyone apart from Dujon Sterling, who's not ever played really in the Premier League. So I think Serginho Dest is definitely not my first choice, but there is no first choice at the minute apart from Dest. There's no one else we can really say who's top of the list. Dest has played at Ajax a few times. You saw him in the 1920 season in the first leg. He was okay. I wouldn't say he was too good. He looks like he's quite dynamic. He looks like he's a good one-on-one dribbler kind of play. He's played right wing. He's played right mid. He can play anywhere really along the right-hand side, even right striker, I'm sure, if we really had a massive crisis. So I'd say Dest is forcefully my option. But like I said, we're not going to splash 60 million on the player I want to right back. We're going to have to sign Dest for 18.7, and Barcelona needs to free up some funds for Ferran Torres' registration and a few other things. So I'll say, yeah, Dest is my option. Amaya, what do you think about the whole situation?
I mean, like you said, there's not too many options available in the market, unfortunately, and this is why the Livramento sale irks me even more. I mean, at the time, I thought it was a good deal, but looking at it now, I mean, how we could have done with him in our team at the moment, right? He can play right wing back, left wing back as well. So I think that was a huge loss for us, unfortunately. But I mean, credit to him, he's doing well at Southampton. He's injured also, by the way. Just had to stick that in, so hopefully he makes a quick recovery. But yeah, I think a lack of options really. So I would say Dest is the more likely option, but I'm not convinced by his defensive positioning by any means. Right? I think it's a bit of like I compared him to Semedo actually, but Semedo's in the prime of his career, so you expect him to have that knowledge by now. But Dest is sort of like Semedo in the sense that he's very good going forward, and I think he was really good at Ajax as well. I was actually really impressed with his Ajax days, but I think at Barcelona, he's not developed at all. If anything, he's regressed in his development. I think that was an awful move for him. It just hasn't worked out. He's been played at right wing by Ronald Koeman initially, and then I thought he was more of a right back, but it looks like his development is now concentrated on his attacking traits, not his defensive traits. So I think that sort of left him a little bit dodgy defensively, if I can say that. But he does have a lot of recovery pace as well. So I mean, I think he has a lot of tools that we can build on. But the only issue I have with this Dest deal is that he's a good player. We're going to get him for a good price. He's a youngster as well, so Tuchel can develop him certainly for the future. But I just think that signing Dest would basically mean no Livramento recall. I was half hoping that we could sign him back in 2023 when the buyback clause becomes activated. But I think if we do go through with this Dest deal, then I think that's goodbye to Livramento, unfortunately. So I'm not sure if that is the wisest option. But like you said, I think Tuchel's publicly said that he wants a right wing back in his press conference as well. So if the Chelsea board don't deliver, then I think that's a huge loss on the board's part. So let's see what happens. I think Luka Dean to Aston Villa is something that's very interesting. I would say Aston Villa really, making unconventional signings. I mean, imagine telling us 2 years ago that Aston Villa would have signed Coutinho and Dean in one window, right? I mean, absolutely ridiculous recruitment from them. But let's see. Hopefully, it works out. And I mean, like Ankit said before he went off, that Everton did want a permanent transfer, and I think Chelsea were looking more for a loan. So, not sure that suited both parties. So, yeah, I think Dest at the moment seems like the best option, but fingers crossed we do get that over the line, right? And yep, that's about it. I think Ankit has mentioned in the chat before that he wants to talk about Manchester United next. Now, one player that I've seen being linked with them is actually Zakaria. I think that's the only player who's been strongly linked to them, apart from others. So, what do you make of that? And do you think they need any other reinforcements? I mean, I'm pretty sure they do, but do you see any of the transfer deals going through on their regard?
I think they need a defensive midfielder. That should have been their priority way before Ronaldo, way before Sancho. They were scoring enough goals last year. They didn't really need any more attackers. It was just Fred and McTominay and Pogba, and it doesn't really matter. They do not have a strong enough midfield to compete at the top level, and it's such a weak spine, I think, for them. So I think Zakaria is more of a box to box, so he could be a great dynamic option in there. Maybe they should go for Declan Rice, but I don't know if you're a Declan Rice fan or not. I definitely am, so I wouldn't want that to happen. Yet you are, so maybe we don't want it to happen. Big fan. Okay, let's forget about what I just said. They should not go for Declan Rice. They should go for Zakaria. But I think they definitely do need a midfielder because, like I said, McTominay is more of a box to box. Fred is a box to box. Pogba is a box to box. They don't really have any CDMs in there. Matic is way past it at the minute, so I wouldn't say they really have any. A centre back could be a priority, but then they would have had 4 that are just unfit right now. I think it could be like 6 if they get another one. Fullbacks I think are pretty much good right now. Goalkeeper's fine. I think they need to go out and get a defensive midfielder if they want to really cement anything this season. I would say the Ronaldo transfer is very controversial again. I say it was more a board signing, more PR signing in terms of helping the team. He scored goals, but then their pressing side looks very disorganized. His mentality is completely off in terms of a leader in the dressing room. He just throws his bibs down when they lose and just walks away. It's not what you want to see from a captain. So, yeah, I say there's not many DMs out there they could sign right now. Maybe Ndidi, who's definitely not been as good as he's been in previous years for Leicester, or I can't really think of any right now. But yeah, Zakaria could be an interesting one. But they need a holding, someone who can just sit there and let the others go forward.
Yep, 100%. I think Declan Rice, I'm a huge fan as well. But, I saw an article recently. I'm not sure how reliable it was, but apparently they value him at 160 million pounds. I'm not sure anyone, even by Manchester United's exorbitant transfer
Mm.
fee, I just think no one's paying that kind of amount. I mean, fair play to them, right? They're in the top four race at the moment, topped their group in the Europa League, qualified to the next stage. So, they shouldn't have any reason to sell their probably their best player at the moment, right? So I mean, fair enough to them for holding on to him. He has a long contract there as well, and Rice isn't that sort of player who's going to cause a ruckus either, is he? So I think fair play. But I think one name you didn't mention was. Actually, Chouameni, who I am also a huge
Ah,
fan of. I am one of the Chouameni / Rice guys, right? I don't mind if we sign either of them. So I'm a huge fan of both. Fingers crossed that Manchester United don't go for Chouameni actually, because that would be a huge blow, because I really, really like the player and I think he's an excellent player. I really want us to sign him, but let's see how that goes. But talking about Manchester United, Zakaria does seem like the most likely option, right? He's out of contract in the summer as well, so could be available on a cut price deal. So let's see. Basically, they do have Ragnick's consultancy as well for the next 2 years, don't they? So let's see, who he cooks up. But yeah, I mean, interesting.
That is
Interesting
if
time.
they don't sack him before that, which I think could actually be a possibility right now. I don't think that board, that manager, was ever going to work for United. They don't have the players to match his ideology. Ronaldo pressing, Rashford pressing, Greenwood pressing. None of them want to press on the front. The only one who wants to press is Fred, really, and Bruno, but they can't really do much on the middle of the pitch, can they? So yeah, I'll say that was a very silly signing. They saw that we signed a German manager mid-season, won the UCL, but Ranić is. I think I see Ranić more as a board member more than a manager. He
Yeah.
doesn't like to be in the spotlight. He can't manage the big dressing rooms. You saw Lokomotiv Moscow. He wanted to. He joined that role as a director. So yeah, I say that was a weird signing. Zidane would have been if I was the Man United board, I would have signed Zidane straight away. He managed a dressing room with Ronaldo, with Carvajal, with Isco, with Asensio, with Benzema, and he got the best out of them with triple or back-to-back Champions League wins. So yeah, so I'd say Zidane was a weird signing, and I think Ankit wants us to probably start wrapping up very soon. But just overall for this Tottenham game, as it is probably the main topic of this show. Who would you say is a Tottenham player that we should look out for? That's not one of the mainstream ones. Just before we wait for Ankit to come back.
I think it could actually be Ndombele. I mean, he was booed off, yes, and he's most likely to leave. But I really, really like Ndombele. I think he's a very good player, and he's not the hardworking type. The box to box. He's not the athletic, physical type of guy who's going to box you, off the ball. He's more of a technical guy, and he's sort of like a Kovacic, if I may add. But unfortunately, his physical, attributes don't go with that, so he's not got the best out of him, and I think it's just the wrong manager. I think he is the exact opposite of a manager, of a player that Mourinho and Conte like. I think he's more of a technical guy, and unfortunately he's got Mourinho coaching him, and then he's got Conte, who both demand work rate over anything else, and he's just not that type of guy, unfortunately. So it's really sad to see that it hasn't worked out. But if there was anyone who I would say, a weird sort of prediction to get to back a goal, or to maybe have an influence in the game, I would say him, because he can really break. I wouldn't call our defense a low block, but we are a very organized team, right? And I think if there's anyone in their team who's capable of breaking that, especially with Son out, then I'd say it's Ndombele. So I would say Ndombele. But what do you think?
I'd say, Ndombele, like you said, Conte cannot work on number 8. So we saw it with all of our players that he had were either number 10s or number 6s. There's no real place in that system for a number 8 is there at all. Inter Milan, he maybe used Barella quite well, but I'd say he's more of a 6, in my opinion, at times, but he can get forward when he wants to. So that's an interesting one. I mean, it's similar again to Joao Felix at Atletico, such a talented, gifted player working in a low block system, such a waste of a talent. And I think Ankit is back now, so we'll hand over to him.
hopefully.
Yep.
Yeah. So people, I'll just put on my camera because it's just my internet acting a little dodgy. Probably telling that, hey, you've been talking too much today. Anyway, it is probably time, but hopefully you guys have been enjoying the stream. And again, kudos to Ameya and Taron. Guys, do check out CFC Chats. It's in the link, and give a follow to Taron. Always there for Almighty Blues FC. And of course, if you're not by chance subscribe to Almighty Blues FC, definitely do. You won't be disappointed. And I hope we've kind of covered Chelsea, Tottenham. I'm sure I was hearing, and Man United. I'm assuming we kind of touched upon that. And Arsenal, I think they have been linked to Bruno Guimaraes off late, so I think that'll be interesting if they're able to get a Leon midfielder. I really doubt that. But yes, a lot of transfer talk, and we can go on forever. Hopefully, you guys have been enjoying it. And like I say always, do share the stream. It certainly helps. And press that bell notification icon because we will be back very soon. And don't worry about it. It's just temporary. This internet is going to be back as well. But before anything, certainly I have to give the stream, the platform to people who have been handling for the past few minutes already, for sure. And firstly, Taron, again, great to have you, brother. Hopefully, we'll have much more streams coming up because a lot many games are coming up as well. So, anything that you would like to share towards the end?
No, just love to say thank you for having me on. I love to be invited. Hopefully, I can recap my Hindi a little bit so I can enjoy the Hindi streams.
Yeah.
But right now, I don't speak Hindi at all in my life, so it's a bit shaky right now. But yeah, it's been a great stream. I've enjoyed the structure of it. I've enjoyed being with the mayor again. I'd love to link up with the mayor anytime soon again. Great co-host on the show when you were gone. And yeah, Ankit, thanks for having us all on, and really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's definitely our pleasure. And Ameya, anything that you would like to share about the channel, anything that you're doing, or just in general?
Yeah, I mean, big up to Taron. Firstly, he was the one who picked up that, that you were lagging, and then we sort of continued our conversation. It's always great talking to Taron, talking to you, Ankit, and I think this trio really works. So great to be on.
Yeah.
Great to have a chat. A lot of topics, different topics covered. And as always, guys, to everyone watching, if you did like my content, you can check it out in the description. We do run a channel called CFC Chats, and it's actually a 1 year anniversary a week from now. So hopefully we will have something big planned for that day. But yeah, I think as of now, that's about it. And hopefully we do go on and qualify for the final. After all, we handled it pretty arrogantly as well ourselves. I mean, we are the champions of Europe, yes, but everyone actually said that we will advance to the final. So hopefully we do. And on that note, I'll hand it back to you, Ankit, to wrap up the stream.
Absolutely. Again, it's our pleasure. People do check it out in the description as always. And yes, we will be back soon. Yes, we are doing a lot more, just not basically, the previews and the reviews, but of course, trivia shows are going to be back with a change and you'll enjoy Taron, basically, someone who's there right at the top. Of course, until recently, but yes, I'm sure he'll be competing. And Amaya, yet to get you on as well, brother. But yes, a lot more series that we're doing lately. So do check out our playlists and press that bell notification icon when we are live next. And hopefully, Chelsea wins. Till next time, up the Chelsea and peace out.